Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar on Friend of the Earth certification, an update organized by the World Sustainability Organization. I am Paolo Bray. I'm the founder and director of WSO and also of the foundation, and of course, Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth, which are programs of WSO and WSF. So just to give you an idea of who we are, where we come from, everything started in the early 90s with my experience in the Dolphin Safe Tuna project, which achieved great tangible conservation results with the Dolphin Safe certification. And so I realized that certifications could be a very important tool to achieve tangible conservation results. And I launched in 2008 Friend of the Sea, which initially focused on the certification of products on sustainable fisheries and aquaculture. 10 years later, we launched the Friend of the Earth, which is the focus of today's webinar. And in 2022, we launched the foundation to support and manage conservation projects in over 40 countries. A couple of years ago, we opened our first concept store in the highest footfall street in Milan to raise awareness on issues related to the environment and to the products we buy and in general to inform about sustainability. So the project has grown, and the projects have grown over the years, and currently we are present in over 90 countries where there are over 1,500 companies which have Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth certified products. And there's several retail chains which also carry on their private label Friend of the Sea or the Friend of the Earth label. The audits are carried out as a real third-party certification. So we are verified and supervised by the national accreditation bodies, which also supervise and accredit on a yearly basis the work carried out by the certification bodies, those that carry out the audit. But why do we need the certification? The question is, in fact, there are several certifications out there. Why did companies start to need the certifications? Why did consumers request the certifications? The need for certification of products and services is a consequence of the growth in trade and branding of products, which had a strong boost just after World War II, with growth of the global economic and trade. Since the late 80s, environmental, food safety, and social accountability issues made accessible to consumers worldwide by means of the mass media and then internet further increase the need for verification and labeling of food products and non-food products according to their safety and environmental and social impact. The food certification market is quantified in 4.7 US dollars, billions of US dollars, and expected to have an annual growth rate of over 5%. And currently, it's roughly around $6 billion. This value includes other certifications related to services such as consultancy and testing. So it's a rapidly growing market showing increasing interest by consumers to have certifications to provide a certain kind of information. Of course, this growth is not occurring in the same way globally, and some continents such as North America and Europe, are in a more mature stage in terms of certification, while Middle East, Africa, Latin America are still in a growth phase. The rush for more information about products and new standards has been such that it is now almost impossible to estimate the number of eco-labels out there, as it is growing every day. But a good estimate would be around 1,000. Approximately 50% of them are somehow related to food, are food eco-labels or applicable to the food industry. Some of the most comprehensive databases are the Eco-Label Index with 456 eco-labels and the ITC Standards Map with 325 eco-labels. So of the approximately 500 food eco-labels out there, I am here representing 150, which hopefully include the major ones, also in terms of number of companies using them and number of products displaying them. I have separated them into groups which describe best their scope: organic, national, EU, as you can see on the left, starting from the left, which are mostly dedicated to organic certifications, with the exception of EMAS. Sustainable or responsible certifications of the agricultural production applicable to multiple products of or food-specific certifications which focus only on certification of specific products such as sugarcane, palm oil, coffee, cocoa, soya, wine, and more. There follows a group of labels aiming to protect single animal species, such as the dolphin safe, which might be at risk because of fishing or agricultural methods. There's also a major group focused on seafood production, whether from fisheries or aquaculture. A well-known group of food safety standards, including BRC, IFC, a group of forestry, as some of these standards have started to certify also agricultural production. A group is dedicated to those standards which highlight engagement in corporate social responsibility. We then have a group of standards related to social accountability, one for animal welfare and others for identifying grass-fed, biodynamics, regenerative, no GMO, packaging, vegan, and other health-related issues. A special one is the group of labels certifying restaurants, and of course we have sets of eco-labels aiming at highlighting good practices in managing some specific environmental impact factors such as water, CO2, climate-related emissions. And last but not least, we have a group related to companies' labels, standards, and eco-labels developed and managed by the companies themselves, thus not applicable to other companies. They are like self-claims. While it would seem an overwhelming job to evaluate all of these labels for their relevance in the mission for more sustainable food or agro-food production, it is also clear that some of these labels or groups cannot, while valuable for their specific purpose, and even though referring to food production, be considered as sustainability certifications labels. If we wish to focus on those independent and more comprehensive sustainability eco-labels, more related to agriculture and its impact, we can exclude from these eco-labels, for example, the self-claims, the food safety certifications, which are only for safety, the generic CSR or management system certification, those specific only to water, energy, emissions, social accountability, packaging, GMO lifestyles, animal welfare, and so on. The list is therefore shorter. So let's look now more in depth on what we are left with to understand the main features of the major certification groups. For example, biodynamic agriculture is a form of alternative agriculture based on pseudo-scientific and esoteric concepts initially developed in 1924 by Rudolf Steiner. It was the first of the organic farming movements. It treats soil fertility, plant growth, and livestock care as ecologically interrelated tasks, emphasizing a spiritual and mystical perspective. In general, while one can put in doubt some of the requirements, the standard, considering all the requirements, could be considered a sustainability certification because it comprises also a lot of other requirements for lower impact agricultural practices. Regenerative agriculture, we're talking a lot about it recently, basically adds requirements to organic agricultural principles, or evidence of which is normally requested, to support soil rehabilitation, gradual increase in biodiversity, improvement of the water cycle, enhancement of ecosystem services, further improve of animal welfare. Standards include also strong requirements on social and economic accountability. So, while some of these principles and claims of regenerative agriculture, such as the one on its valid carbon sequestration, have been put in doubt by some scientific assessments, this eco-label can also represent and incorporate the needed feature of the sustainability certification. So let's now evaluate whether or not organic standards can be defined as sustainability certification. Well, the organic certification arena is quite a diversified one, as each country or group of countries, as in the case of the EU, regulates at different levels what the organic requirements should look like, providing, for example, regulations and guidelines. Other privately started organizations like IFOAM have developed their own requirements. A study some years ago calculated over 500 organic labels. So a harmonization would surely help, and it's occurring in some cases in this field. While the EU, USA, and Japan regulations do not include social accountability requirements, the Australian, Swiss, and IFOAM standards do include, to a certain extent, also social accountability issues, which is one of the pillars of sustainability. As far as the certification activity, it is carried out on all cases by an independent certification body. Before moving and analyzing the core sustainability certifications, it is interesting to understand the relevance and spread of organic in the overall global picture. According to the ITC standard map data, organic is leading among the sustainability certifications related to agricultural production. However, it still only represents 1.5 of agricultural land worldwide. The other certifications represented each a global share of not more than 1%. Australia is the country with the largest certified organic area in terms of size and also percentage. Italy and Spain are the countries with the highest percentage of organic certified area. Organic is almost not present in the African continent. The organic farming market is expected to grow in 11% in each of the next 4 years. This would mean that by the end of the century, it could still be below the 5% of the total harvested area. So while the growth is significant and in line with the expected growth of other certifications, it must be stressed that it still represents a very small percentage of the overall agricultural area in the world. I'm providing here with some relevant data from the ITC standards map, confirming the trend and showing its spread on the world map. It is also interesting to observe the compared relevance of forestry standards in terms of area certified. It is more than 6 times the area certified by organic. PEFC is currently market leader. Organic itself is 70% of the total area certified in agriculture. And part of the certified forestry area is also dedicated to food production. The two major forestry standards are PEFC and Forest Stewardship Council. The certifications occurred mostly in North America and Europe and much less in Africa. While in Canada, over 40% of the forest area is being certified, the value is much smaller elsewhere. They both include strong requirements on social economic accountability and rely on independent certification bodies to carry out the audit, even though PFC is verified also by the national accreditation bodies. They therefore qualify as sustainability certifications. Then there is a large group of crop-specific standards, which should by definition be type 1 according to ISO, like same as type 1 for single attribute of single sector. According to the ITC, the UTZ program, which certified cocoa, tea, hazelnut, and coffee, was the main of the crop-specific standards with over 1 million producers. However, the label has been recently bought by Rainforest Alliance, and it's gradually being phased out and incorporated in rainforest. The responsible sustainable palm oil palm certification has therefore now become the major type 1 like food certification. The 4C certification is the major one in terms of producer certified. Also, Bon Sucro covers almost 10% of the global area, followed by Good Performance by Proterra and others. When looking at the type 1 certifications, assessing multi-attributes, multi-products, and open to multi-sectors in agriculture, we see that Rainforest Alliance and Global Gap are by far the major players. But there are two major differences between the two. Global Gap is mainly a B2B certification, while Rainforest is also B2C. Another important difference to highlight is that Rainforest is focused on tropical crops for the nature of its claim. while Global Gap has certified a much bigger range of agro products, also in temperate areas. The growth of Global Gap is even more important when we consider it was founded 10 years after the Rainforest Alliance in 1997. Both schemes use independent certification bodies, but only Global Gap is recognized and accreditable standard according to the national accreditation bodies. As far as the other programs, LEAF is an initiative started some 10 years ago, focused on the principles of integrated farm management. It claims that 48% of UK fruit and vegetables are grown on LEAF Mark certified business. I will talk a bit more in detail about Friend of the Earth. However, anticipate it is a certification launched 3 years ago by the organization I represent. It has developed standards in various sectors. The audits are carried out by independent certification bodies. The current hectares area is still small, but it has great potential for growth, as it is entering massively into the tobacco curing and growing arena, auditing major players. Rainforest Alliance, Global Gap, LEAF, and Friend of the Earth all include social accountability standards and use independent certification bodies. This means they are all qualified to be considered sustainable certifications. When we look at the certified share of global area certified, we notice that on average, something around 9% of the total area is certified, with cocoa on top, followed by coffee and tea. But let's look closer to those major players left in our assessment, of which eco-labels can actually be deemed as sustainability certifications according to the official definition in agriculture, which implies certifications to be carried out by a certification body independent from the audited companies, and social and economic accountability to be included in the standards. A useful tool to shorten the list is to refer to the actual definition of certification according to the ISO. A certification is the provision by an independent body of written assurance, a certificate, that the product, service, or system in question meets specific requirements. It is important, therefore, that the certification body be provided by an independent body, that the certification be provided by an independent body. While, as we will see later, a reliable certification should be provided by an independent certification body, itself verified in its standard-related work by a national accreditation body. For the time being, we will refer to this more generic definition of independent certification body, even though ISO itself, just after the definition of certification, provides the definition of accreditation, thus implying the importance of the latter when assessing the independence of the certification body and its audit work. The purpose of our analysis is now to understand the level of reliability of the sustainability certification we have identified. The tool to assess reliability and continuous verification of the standards performance and the work carried out by the certification board, by the certification standards and standards owners, is the national accreditation, a process by means of which a certification standard is assessed by the national accreditation bodies to be fit for accreditation of certification bodies against its standards. The whole process is then harmonized and coordinated by the International Accreditation Forum, and in Europe by European Cooperation for Accreditation. To date, very few standards have the honor to be recognized by the national accreditation bodies, among them ISO, the organic label, BRC, IFS, Global Gap, LEAF in some countries, Friend of the Sea at international level, and recently also Friend of the Earth, which is still undergoing technical assessment. Other standards did not even try and build, other standards did not even try and build a parallel organization to carry out these tasks, such as ICIL and ASI, which seem to be in contrast with the EU regulation requesting only one national accreditation body per country. If we thus want to find out which of our sustainability certifications have a higher degree of scrutiny and reliability, being constantly verified by the national accreditation bodies, then we're left with this very short list that you see on the screen. So now that we have identified the positioning of Friend of the Earth in terms of its qualification to be considered as a reliable certification. Let's go a little bit more in detail on and provide you with some information on this last part of the webinar. Friend of the Earth has started as and focused in the initial years as a certification for products from sustainable agriculture and farming. In fact, the requirements have been developed based on the FAO SAFA, the Sustainability Assessment and Food and Agricultural System Guidelines. In terms of the requirements related to the agriculture management system, they are very much similar to those of integrated pest management, because scientific studies have proved recently that in terms of performance in reducing the agricultural impact on the environment, integrated pest management is even better performing, at least for a great number of crops, when compared to organic, because it lowers the risk and it reduces to a negligible level the risk of potential impact of the use of certain pesticides or certain chemical addition to the agricultural process, while at the same time it maintains a certain level of efficiency. And efficiency, let's not forget, means also less use of land per unit of production, less use of energy, water, etc. It is well known that on average, organic production needs, for example, 1.5 land per unit of production when compared to conventional. So this means an impact on land, a loss of biodiversity, and this can be confirmed also for the other resources that are used in the process. So there's a need to go towards a more science-based approach, and that's why our agriculture management system standards are very much matching with those of integrated pest management. But to that one, we add, as you can see from this summary of the requirements in the standard, we add also a lot of other group of requirements. So the system verifies, the standard verifies the impact of the development of the agricultural site on any pre-existing natural critical habitat. It requires census and protection of any endangered species of flora and fauna which might occur on the agricultural site. It requires a basic environmental management system and optimal manage of water, energy, and waste, reducing the waste over time to zero. Then there are some requirements related to regenerative agricultural practices. So we can be also described as regenerative agriculture because of these requirements. Animal welfare in case of farming of animals, and of course social accountability and traceability chain of custody. In case the product has already obtained other certifications, such as those that you see here, this is just a short example, such as Global GAP, Organic, etc., or Rainforest Alliance, there's a certain level of equivalence with those standards. So the auditor will not double audit those standards. The company has a valid certificate. As I was mentioning, the audits are carried out by independent certification bodies. And in some cases, we are able to, the certification bodies are able to carry out the audits remotely, video recording the whole audit, and thus gathering a lot of information, much more than what normally is gathered during the conventional audits. And now we launched also our avatar auditors as a beta test that will be experimented during 2025, which basically guarantee that no bribing, even soft bribing, can occur. At the same time, the auditors are connected to AI, so they have full knowledge about anything that can be possibly thought about related to agriculture, sustainability, environmental impact, social accountability, etc., etc. They are interactive avatars, which this is my avatar actually, but we have others, which basically will ask the company all the questions, gradually being able also to visualize the videos that are provided by the other party. They connect on a Zoom call, which is video recorded. And anybody of you who will be interested to test them, we will provide you with the link. So the agriculture part of Friend of the Earth certification has grown over the years. These are only some of the entities and companies which have some products certified, among them some major market leaders in their field, such as La Doria, which is one of the biggest tomato sauce producers worldwide, Philip Morris, for which we have audited, we have verified through the Friend of the Earth standards, compliance with strict sustainability practices in the tobacco leaves curing process. And then there are several others, some interesting ones, as I will show you briefly with showing the actual products. You can see some of them here, but to go more in detail, there are some chocolate producers which have been certified with production of cocoa in Cambodia, and some coffee producers, such as this one with production in Costa Rica. Several wine producers, which have also been mentioned on TV, such as these wine producers. Greek producers of vegetables, La Doria, and other tomato producers, including some producing in hydroponics, so differently from organic. We are able to certify also, to audit also hydroponic producers. Other fruit products and tomatoes. This is the hydroponic one, as well as eggs and dairy products, rice, and in different countries and continents, quinoa, and also the famous Italian Parmesan, as well as other leaders in dairy production in Sri Lanka, and meat production, fruit, dry fruit, oils, honey, and also nutraceutical products, such as this product from India. And we develop standards under Friend of the Earth program for certification of sustainable insect farming. Those companies which obtain the certification can also leverage on other certification logos that we provide, that we own, that basically highlight their compliance with subsets of the Friend of the Earth requirements related to sustainable irrigation, protection of endangered species and birds, social accountability, animal welfare, and so on. Over the years, we have expanded the scope of the Friend of the Earth certification to award with the Friend of the Earth logo other products and services which respect the environment. So we developed the standards for sustainable fashion and textiles. I won't go into detail on this, but of course, anybody who could be interested, feel free to contact us at Paolo Bray at friendoftheearth.org. There's many ways to contact us anyway, so feel free. And these are some of the brands and textile producers which have been certified from 4 continents in the fashion sustainable fashion certification program. We develop standards and are assessing some companies in sustainable furniture, sustainable hospitality. We have various standards in the tourism sector. Sustainable mining and jewels. We have certified some mines, some coral mines. We are assessing others, and sustainable events. And this, by the way, is one of the fashion shows that we carry out in September to highlight the brands that have been certified. Events is a very important market to which somehow we all participate. If you want to have your event certified Friend of the Earth, you contact us and we provide you with the standard checklist And we develop standards also for sustainable sports, another huge sector. And everything is interrelated. So if anybody is interested to know more, feel free to contact us. This is the price list, which is available on the website. This relates to products from sustainable agriculture. And as you can see, it's reasonable and acceptable. It's the price list for the royalties, to which audit cost has to be added. And it changes depending on the number of products and the revenue, the annual revenue of the company. The benefits for the Friend of the Earth certified companies are various. Of course, the focus is on the third-party certification, but the companies can also obtain a certificate to confirm their participation and support to our conservation projects carried out by the foundation. It can use the other logos that I mentioned, and they can leverage on a lot of joint marketing activities, such as an international press release, interview to your CEO or sustainability manager, participation in webinars on your specific sector. And if you're selling to restaurants, those restaurants can basically free of charge be able to be promoted because they have your product on their menu. And those companies who are interested to do networking through us, we are be glad to facilitate one-to-one meetings with potential buyers in your target market. With several other initiatives, such as our Sustainable Friends app, which basically is a fidelity app, which allows consumers to add up points as they buy a Friend of the Sea or Friend of the Earth product, and then have sustainable awards and prizes. And this is an image of our concept store, as I was mentioning you previously, where we also carry out on the top floor interviews to professionals in conservation and sustainability. It's located in the highest footfall street in Italy, with millions of people passing every month. If you're interested in the foundation, we have projects, conservation projects that we support under the Friend of the Earth certification, and under the Friend of the Earth program, as well as Friend of the Sea. The projects in over 40 countries focus on protecting endangered species and habitat. We support these projects, but we'd be glad companies also to help us in donating and sponsoring some of these projects. I'm just showing you some examples. And we have humanitarian projects as well. So this is my last slide, summing up WSO, WSF are the only platform, the only organization which can, with two consumer-friendly logos, finally provide the certification potentially for all food products, as well as non-food products and services, based on 30 years solid experience in the field, completely independent from the industry, verified and accredited by the national accreditation bodies, international and multi-product in scope, with the price list which is affordable, but requirements which have been proved by all benchmarks to be very strict, always including social accountability. And we provide a number of services to the companies which obtain the certification. So with this, I finish my presentation. I kept it within the more or less 30 minutes. I apologize, maybe I went a bit over. And so I would like now to jump to the, I will stop sharing my presentation. I will jump to the polls that I have organized for you today. And so the first poll is, do you prefer single product or single sector or national sustainability certifications, or certifications which are more widely applicable, which can be applied to products in various sectors and open to any country? So we have seen various examples. So if you prefer more specific certification, then there might be a reason, like the Better Cotton Initiative or the Sustainable Palm Oil Roundtable, which are specific for a single product, you should click on the first option. If you prefer single sector certifications, such as MSC, FSC, ASC, BAP, etc., then you can click for that. If you prefer a specific certification country-specific certifications, such as, there are labels for seafood in Japan or sustainable wine from California, then that's your choice. So the second poll is about, do you trust remote and AI audit, like I've shown to you, if proved equivalent to conventional audit, or we should stick to conventional audits, which means an auditor traveling across the globe to try and visit the company on site all the time, or maybe there could be a combination of them. So you can have various options. As you can see, we try to be more very much understanding and give you the various options. I know that some of these polls are a bit complex, but I know you're all very clever, so you'll understand. Another poll is about which of the following agricultural methods is better in terms of reducing environmental impact: organic, integrated pest management, sustainable, which is a very generic one, or regenerative, which also gives back to the land, to nature, etc. So I'm allowing you to see all of them. I bet you are all very tired because I've done a long and quite complex presentation. So be kind and provide your evaluation of the webinar. From 1, which is very bad, to 5, which is good. But we still have part of it to go. I see that there are some questions, possibly less than the ones I got yesterday. Yesterday was a very well-crowded webinar. We had almost 100 people and a lot of questions. Today is a bit more technical. I hope you still enjoyed. So, okay. Somebody says that they could see me. Others say that they couldn't see my screen, but my team did not send me any message, so I suppose that the screens, the PowerPoints at a certain point could be visible. I hope so. And otherwise, let us know and we will send them over. Everything was okay, so at least the majority has been able to see the screen, the PowerPoint. So there's a question on how to apply for the certification, who organizes and carries out the verification audit. Okay, so basically we have a website, Friend of the Earth website. You would have to go to the apply area. If you drop us an email, of course, we will write all this down to you. But if you are interested, you have to go to the apply area. You search for the preliminary information form that relates to your sector. So there's one for agriculture, one for farming, etc. And you will see a form opening up that you can normally fill out in a matter of 10 minutes, where you basically tell us the name of your company, the location of your farms, the species that you're producing, and some basic information about your production process, if you have other certifications, your revenue, etc., so that in a matter of 24 hours, we'll get back to you with the proposal, and we will activate also certification bodies who will be able to send you their separate audit cost proposal. And in terms of the timing, normally, that's a question that we usually get. After the signing of the agreement that you will receive as a proposal following your filling out of the preliminary information form, you should expect an average 30 days to obtain the certification if there are no non-conformities. If there are non-conformities, you will have to correct them, of course. But the audits, as you understood, can be set up relatively fast. And the auditor then has 15 days to finalize the audit report. Hopefully, it could be done faster, but that's, by agreement. And so, all in all, technical time included 30 days. You have a harmonization process that allows similar certifications to cooperate with each other. Well, basically, as I've shown in one of the slides, we have a comparative analysis already carried out for some of the major certifications out there. If you have other certifications like national certification, etc., then you should let us know, and we can compare that in a matter of 1 week and let you know which of our standards, if any, will be verified during the audit because they are not already included in the certification you have been granted by some other institution or so. So that's basically our way to harmonize. It's difficult, I must say, we tried in the past also with Global Gap, etc. It's difficult to harmonize or to strictly collaborate. After all, also the world of certification has some level of competition, which is good because it motivates all of us to keep the prices at an affordable level. At least that's what we try and do on our side. And also always improve in terms of the return that we provide to the company's investment in terms of networking, highlighting your certified products, etc., during trade shows and so on, and also be more and more visible. If it was a monopoly, or if there were just a bunch of certifications getting together and harmonize, all these incentives would be lost. And so that's why I think that a certain level of diversity is needed anyway. But as you can see, from the 1,000 labels out there, we've limited it down to 4 or 5, so which are really reliable, international, verified by the national accreditation bodies, and comprehensive in their requirements. So really, if you are a company, you should consider all that, because in the long term, that's what will win. You wouldn't want to go with some of them call them Mickey Mouse label. But okay, with this smile and little laugh, I think we can close the meeting. And we got some interesting results. With somebody actually replied, and so I'm showing you the. Let's have a look at the polls. I see that most of the people, 83%, are more in favor of multi-product, multi-sector, multi-country certification. That's good because that's the direction we're going. And then I'm showing you this other poll result. Okay, a good part, 44% trust remote audit, but not so much AI. Okay, so I'll be glad to send you the avatars that we developed, the interactive avatars, so that you can test them and see your reaction. But it's important, your feedback is important. I'm sure that very few of you have tested this. So it's important that you test it, and let's see if the opinion changes with time. Of course, there's improvement needed, but nobody voted for I trust AI. Okay, so there's some level of distrust for AI interactive avatars. So one more reason to send you a link to our avatars and see what you think about it after this trial. Then there's the poll. So nobody voted for organic being the best aquaculture method. So sorry, agriculture method. So it's quite interesting. It shows that there's a kind of a distrust for organic for being really good for, and most of you voted for sustainable to be the best way to produce in terms of agriculture. That's interesting. I would have expected regenerative, but maybe that's enlightening. Okay, wonderful. So thank you very much. You gave us a 4.8 rating. Thank you for your patience and interest. And let's be in touch. We will send you update about the next webinars coming through. We have one last question, maybe last moment. Okay, somebody is lamenting that has not received the certificate of the previous webinar. We're very sorry. We will send it to you. We'll make sure we send it to you by this evening or at the latest Monday morning. Sorry, we have been very busy, but you are going to receive it. Don't worry. That's our engagement, and it will be done. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the day and have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you next time.
Help our planet with this first step. Follow Friend of the Sea and Friend of the Earth across our social media. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your follow and subscription helps us spread the sustainability message to everyone. Let's build a better world together as sustainable friends.